Hello everyone, welcome to History Forge. My name is Taylor Hamlin. I'm going to be reviewing how to kind of outline a documentary project today. So as you can see, I'm on my design pages right now, and these links are in the video description, so if you're my students, you should recognize these pretty well. If you are new to the video, then you should be able to find this in the video description attached to this video. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Documentary, so it's right here, the very first one, and that will take us into this. I've already clicked all these open, so I'll tell you to click, but I won't need to. So it goes to the top here. You got the first step, second step. So we're going to scroll all the way down to the third step here, and we're looking for the second step. Sorry. So right here in the second step, this is how we begin outlining our documentaries, and really we want to focus on taking all the photographs, all the primary sources that we have, and trying to somehow, some way organize them into something coherent. I have a few sheets that will help you do that, and I'll show you those right now. But, if you're my students, what I expect is to see exactly how every single photo is going to be outlined along with your script. And there's a couple ways you can do that, and I'm going to show you those different ways right now. And you can kind of pick your own way. I don't really care. As long as you do it and show me and it makes sense, that's all you need to do. So, first sheet, you got the two Tootsie Roll worksheets right here. It's the first ones we want to jump into. And they look like this and this. They actually both kind of look like this. If I go back, I think there's another one that's got stuff in it. So the first one's kind of empty. The second one's loading right now. There it goes. So this one's got stuff in it. This is an example of what a outline can look like. So you have to have, and I'm sorry it's backwards, I can't figure out how to fix it. But you have a title right here. You have a thesis statement. You got your background and build up. Now these are all timed. They got like 15 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. You can choose whatever time you want. It doesn't matter to me. Pick how much every time you want. Honestly, I feel like a lot of this stuff doesn't need to be as much. Like your thesis statement can, you're reading your thesis, that'll probably take you 30 seconds. And you can talk about why it's important and everything, but honestly, I think the title, thesis statement, and build up shouldn't really take you more than 2 minutes. That really shouldn't have to be that long. So you got your thesis, you got your main event. The main event's like your actual reasons why. Think about the ways you're going to prove your thesis. So when it says main event, it can be kind of confusing. It's just asking you, tell us why or how you know your thesis is correct. All the evidence you found, all the thinking and writing you've done. That's all that really is. And on the other side, you'll have pictures going the entire time while you're talking, but you're just basically imagine writing a script, writing a paper, and just reading it out loud, telling people why you know you're right. That's all you have to do. Most documentaries will have at least 2 or 3 reasons why they know their thesis is correct. So if that helps you organize your thoughts that way, think about needing 2 or 3 main events or 2 to 3 main ideas in order to back up your thesis. And then here's the short to long-term effects. This is basically tell us why your thesis matters. What is the effect of your thesis? How does that thesis affect history? How does that thesis affect our understanding of history? Basically, just tell me why it matters. What is the value of this research? Why should people come and read this? What impact have you learned about? And again, that could be a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. Kind of depends on what you want to do. Your conclusion can kind of wrap it up, and then your titles and credits is 15 seconds. That's about right. Again, these are all very loose. You don't have to marry these times. This actually gives you some bullet points that help you maybe understand more. So if you're having a hard time figuring out how to organize your documentary, what the sections should be, use this sheet and it should help you. That being said, all my students use this sheet, and some of my students who have commented. So this is an example. We got a thesis right here. It looks like the final thesis is here highlighted. And then this one doesn't have sections yet, so this one needs sections still. So you're going to want to go ahead and type in, for example, introduction/thesis. And then as you go down, you'll want to fill in those other things. Each section should be more details, and so this one should be conclusion of some kind. And the rest of this stuff should be main ideas that support the thesis. How do you know your thesis is correct? It's exactly what I want to know, okay? Scrolling down, you see that these group has this stuff. So remember, you have to organize all this stuff. It can't just be random pictures. So a really good way to do this is to actually write out your sections next to each box. So for example, you could write section 1. Stop typing. There we go. Section 1, and we'll call that thesis/introduction. And remember, each box should represent about 5 seconds. So this is telling me that this is the first picture to this. And this is what it's saying. This is Carrie Nation's hatchet that she carried around with her. So I think this group is just randomly dumping photographs into their section. We don't want that. Remember, we want to have exactly which pictures are going where. So really, you shouldn't use this document just to dump all your pictures. You should be putting your pictures somewhere else. Put them in another Google Doc, create a shared folder where you guys can share pictures with each other. But they really shouldn't be done right here, because remember, this is all organizing our actual script. So I would suggest deleting these pictures, putting them somewhere else, and then we can actually organize. So we have section 1, thesis introduction. Remember, each box should be about 5 seconds. So your thesis introduction should be no more than 2 minutes. So you'd count the boxes, 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds on the first page, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Here's a minute right here. So we're on page 4, and now this is the minute line. So our thesis should be stated. We should be getting into the background now, talking about why things matter, and then continuing to do that. Think about these things as 5-second intervals, okay? And then just keep on mapping things out. So again, I want to see pictures, and I want to see a rough outline. I want to see exactly, or not exactly, but I want to see a rough idea of how you're going to organize all your photographs. And then you need to start actually writing your script, writing things next to your photograph. Remember, each box is 5 seconds, so you have to read this stuff out loud to yourself and see if it's 5 seconds or not. So you guys can look at the time right now and see what this is. Francis Willard, actually I'll look at the clock too. Francis Willard, American founder of the World WCTU in 1883. The WCTU was the first of many onto-liquor organizations, ultimately launched the prohibition in 1920. That took me over 10 seconds to read. So that is an example of being very careful. Like, you have to remember that each box, each photograph is roughly 5 seconds. You can obviously do one longer than that, or you can put one shorter than that. If it's like a really important one, you really want to show it for a long time, you can. But remember, documentaries, like, you don't want to bore people. Like, you want to have a lot of images to keep their engagement up. So be thinking about doing that. So that's the Tootsie Roll worksheet, kind of general outline. Going into these, so now going back into this, I'm now in the part 1 and 2. So if you click these two open, it'll take you to this and this. This is how you could do those sections. You actually could write out your rough ideas here and the pictures you want to put in. Obviously, you're not going to be able to fit all your pictures in this, but if you want to print this out and like number your pictures, so if you have 150 photos, number them like 1, 2, 3, picture 5, picture 6, picture 7. You could actually write down which photographs by number go into which section. If you show me that, that would be enough. Like, that would be enough to satisfy me for showing me a rough outline of your project. So you have like here the history, background, your thesis, then what happened. You can rename these things too. Like this thing that says connection to theme. If you want to rename that to one of your section names, do that, okay? But you can use that sheet if you want to. Going back then, so that's one thing you can do. And you have this thing that says creating a script guide. This is really good. I really wish I showed you guys this earlier. It'll take you to, I believe, this. A lot of you have seen it. Again, it's just a way of kind of creating points. It's only on paper, so you're not going to have a lot of like room. But if you want to copy this in a Google Doc and like actually organize things, that way you can. But it's basically just a copy of this thing. You have one side, on the left side is going to be your actual narration, and then the other side, your right side is going to be your pictures. So if you want to use that, you can. And then this one, let me go back. All right, so we're going down to third step now. We're looking at organizing your information. That's what this is. This is what I just talked about. So if you want to use this as an example, you have your script right here, you have an image. You have your script right here, you have an image. You can keep going back and forth, okay? So that's just another example. If you need to use that, do that. That's what will be due before you even make the documentary. So you'll actually have to show me a line. And that's actually what you'll show each other too. Like, that's how you'll build your script. So we actually can like visually see your script. I'm sorry, we can visually see your documentary before you actually make the video itself. And then finally, we have this last one. If you go into third step and you click on, where is it? I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. It's actually in fourth step, sorry. Go to the Storyboard Brainstorm. That's what this thing is right here. This is a lot of good information. It talks about, this person who made a documentary. It talks about like what you can do. And so like here you have main title, you have a subtitle, that could be your first part. And then you have your introduction. It just gives you more information about introduction. And then what you do is you can actually go in here. I kind of like the way she did it. You can actually have a big box here for script, and you have images right here. because a lot of times you feel weird writing tiny little lines, like this example right here. Like we just found out that this is like 10 to 15 seconds. That's kind of awkward to write only one sentence at a time. It kind of feels weird. So if you want to write your, a full paragraph right here and then write the images that'll come with it, that could be a really cool thing too. So if you want to show me a completed version of this would also be a really good thing to show me. But this is how you organize yourself. So get all your images on this side, your thesis on that side. You keep scrolling down. She gives you more info. So a background build up, your images, heart of the story. You guys can use either side you want. I don't care. Yeah, and it just keeps going and going and going. So it doesn't matter to me what you use. Like all I need is this. I just need to see 150 photos for your rough draft. I need to see how you're going to organize all those photographs. So kind of like what this lady did with, she has a conclusion, she has a short and long-term impact, she has heart of the story, which again, this is just the main idea, and then she has background build-up. So all these different things will work, okay? If you want to do your own setup, that's fine, but all you have to do is show me an outline and your photographs. That's all I need to see. So that is it. That takes you all the way to the fourth step, okay? So that's all you need to worry about, and that's pretty much it. By February 8th, for documentaries, I do need to see, it says video, I don't need to see a video, I only need to see a script. So I can even change that right now. So I'll say turn in rough draft of script and images. And that rough draft of script and images, that's just this stuff. Like if you had 10 minutes of script and a bunch of images that went with it, that's all I need to see. Okay? So I know that's a lot. Sorry that took so long. Let me know if you have any questions, and that's it. So if you're my students, go away. Everyone else, welcome to History Forge. This is one of the documentaries. This is one of the projects that we do. It's called a documentary, and basically the way we set it up is just like a regular thesis, like doing an essay, but it's just through a visual and audio format. So I have this thing, it's called a design sheet for documentaries. All these links and stuff kind of help keep organized and push kids and push students the right way. If you want to use the video for your own students, feel free. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you have any responses, if you have any ways to make these things better, let me know too. I'm always looking to make this stuff better. So that's it for me. If you want any of those links, go to the video description. They're all in there. We also have a social media page on Facebook, on Instagram, and some other spots. So if you want to download more images, if you want to download some project stuff or just copy down some links, feel free. That's it for us. You guys have a great day. Bye.